150 squats. Simple. That's it for this whole workout. So, I want to talk about questions, not questions from commenters or whatever the case may be, but just how you go about when it comes to questions in your life. When I mean questions, I literally mean questions, like asking questions, like putting your hand up or giving some type of signal to let people know that you have something that you want to say because you're confused or whatever. And when you ask a question, it kind of feels like as if, oh man, are people gonna think I'm dumb? Like, just think of the usual classroom setting, right? Like the amount of times where I'm in class and I'm like confused on something and I'm like, dang, what does this mean? What are they talking about? And I want to ask the teacher, but I don't want to seem stupid, I don't want to seem stupid. Like she just went over it or they just went over it, and I don't want to be like, dang, bro, like I already forgot what they said, like. So it's like you can't be scared to ask this stuff when it's going to get in the way. Like you not knowing is going to get in the way of you progressing. So it's like don't be afraid to ask questions, even if you think it's stupid, right? If even if you think like a question like what color is the sky, like if you really need to know that and you don't really know that answer, ask it. Someone's gonna think you're stupid. It doesn't matter what question you ask, right? If you're in a room with some of the most intelligent people, everything you say might even sound stupid. Every question you might ask might sound stupid because those people are surrounded by like 24/7, like nonstop, crazy, like smart people. So it all just depends on the room, right? So don't be afraid to put your hand up and ask whatever question you want to ask. And even just even that, maybe you don't think it's stupid. Maybe you're just afraid. Maybe you're just anxious. You have some type of anxiety or fear when it comes to wanting just to say something or just to stand out at all. But it's like that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help at all. I know people that would that came close to like failing classes and whatnot simply because they didn't ask questions, simply because they decided to keep their hand down. And I know that they were more than capable of passing, whatever class it was, because these were friends of mine and these people were smart, but they just didn't want to ask questions. And maybe if I understood and I asked or they asked me a question, I wouldn't know how to teach it well. So it's like asking the teacher would be like a no go. And I've even had this where like, I don't ask questions. I don't ask questions immediately. And when there's a situation where it'd be more appropriate to ask a teacher. I ask a student, I ask a student, and when a student doesn't know, then it's like, oh man, like I really do have to ask the teacher. So when I'm out of options, I'm just like, okay, I grab my balls and I just say, hey, teacher, what did you say again for the homework tonight or whatever? So yeah, like and again, even if people call you stupid, who cares, right? Like people are always gonna, flame you for anything, bro. Like especially coming where I'm from, like the South, bro. Like it does not matter, bro. It does not matter what you do, how cool you are, how smart you are, bro. You'll get flamed for anything, bro. You ask a simple question, bro, you will get flamed. Like, bro, you didn't know that? You didn't know that? Da, 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 da. But those type of environments build character. So it's like you shouldn't be trying to avoid whatever situation it is that's going to advance you, because the other people around you that are like mocking you and whatever, just think of like what situation they might be in later. It's like the fact that they thought that it was necessary to mock you for you asking questions so you can better understand whatever situation it is. Like just think of where they're gonna be at a certain point, right? And don't wish doom upon others, but you know sometimes making those assumptions is like, yeah, well, I don't know, bro. I think you the dumb one. You don't even know what the first question was. So yeah, so don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask questions at work. Ask your family members questions. And asking questions are very important, especially when it comes to relationships, right? When it comes to friendships, especially when it comes to having like a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and you want to be able to communicate with them. You want to be able to ask your friend, hey, does this thing that I do annoy you? So therefore you can adjust like things that you do and whatnot. And you can reflect on like, maybe I should try and change this quality about me. And with relationships, it's like, hey, is this, you know, is me not taking out the trash, is that something that really bothers you? Is that something that really gets on your nerves? Is me not taking the time to spend quality time with you bothering you? Is that a problem for you? Is me not taking you out on dates, is that like a no-go for you? Is that like a problem? When you ask all these things, you can get a better understanding of like not just your surroundings or whatever situation, but you can get a better understanding of people and yourself, right? Like a lot of this stuff, a lot of this stuff when it comes to questions, when it comes to anything, is like just knowing yourself better. So when you know yourself better, you can better understand your surroundings, because like now you're searching from within, right? And a question, it's a tool, right? We create so many tools to allow us to access many other things or to be able to do other things we can't do with just our basic human whatever. So a question, asking a question, or even questioning things, like being critical of things, it's very important for you to do, and important for you to even muster up the courage, because it kind of does take courage to ask questions, especially like hard hitting questions like, hey, do you love me? Or hey, is it okay if I can turn in this assignment later, or something like that, right? Especially when you've analyzed your situation, right? Like, think of it as like this, right? In order to get a scope of whatever situation it is, you have to ask a bunch of different tiny questions. And then in order to fully understand the entire situation, all those little tiny questions lead up to one single question. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I'm just babbling on, and I'm just saying some random stuff. But ask questions, man. Like, say something, bro. Like say something, right? Speak up, ask, bro. Like, I remember my grandma, I think I kind of learned this from my grandma. She would say always ask questions, because it's like she would send us to go do stuff, and I would not follow her directions properly because I kind of forgot, so I just kind of like made it up on the fly, or I just flat out didn't do something that she had told me because I forgot. And she was saying like, if you forget something, or you don't understand something, ask me, say something. So therefore it's like I'm not going off doing the wrong thing, or I'm not going off doing something that I'm not supposed to do, or I'm flat out not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in general. So you have to ask a question. You don't want to be like how I was in that situation when I was younger, where I was just like, oh well, I kind of forgot what grandma said, so I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing. Cause you just end up wasting people's time. Just end up wasting my grandma's time and my time and her resources and whatever. So again, like, ask questions. If you're not sure, double check. If you're not sure, like again, just ask questions, bro. Like, even if you think you're being annoying by asking so many questions, man, who cares, bro? If people think you're being annoying by asking too many questions, screw them, bro. All you're trying to do is just better understand and gain knowledge. If you're a person who feels like they need to ask a lot of questions, then go ahead. Go ahead, right? Like, maybe first you should sit and pause and analyze before you ask a question, because maybe the answers in your maybe lying around in your surroundings. Like, maybe you can, I don't know, when is homework due? And instead of asking that, maybe it's written up on the board or something like that, right? Or what assignment do we have to do for homework today? Oh, it's on the board. Okay, maybe I don't have to ask my teacher that. But again, it's like, if you end up asking the question first, it doesn't matter. Like, what the most the teacher's gonna do is like, it's on the board, or someone else is gonna say it's on the board, whatever. So yeah, so it's just like, just say something. Like, just say something. Like, I like to try and ask questions when I feel like it's necessary, because it's like I'm gaining knowledge, right? Google. I mean, bro, if you want to ask a question, bro, ask Google. Ask that dude a question, bro. He got the answers to almost everything, to be honest. Again, but like, in real life situations where you feel like oh, they might think I'm stupid or maybe I'm annoying. Don't worry about that, right? Don't trip over yourself. Don't trip over your own thoughts. Because when you're tripping over that stuff, it's going to get in the way of you being able to access more opportunities and knowledge and other greater situations, right? If you're not asking whatever questions you need to ask. So again, just open your mouth and say something. Ask, you know?